guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Claire and today we're going to talk about all the books that I finished in the months of August and September. So this isn't a super crazy list by any means, but I think it's pretty good considering quite a few of these books are pretty freaking long. So I think there's 5 or 6 in here, so let's get started with Queen of Shadows. Queen of Shadows? Let's get started with Siege of Storms. Shadows of Storms. Something Siege of Queens? It is the 5th book, I believe, in the Sarah J. Maas series, Throne of Glass. I believe it's the second to the last book if you're not counting Tower of Dawn, which I know I'm supposed to read before Kingdom of Ash, but I don't know, we'll see. I'm very excited to get to the end of this series because it has taken a long time. These are big books. I mean, the audiobooks have all been 20 hours or more. So it's taken me a hot minute to get through, so this 5th book was really interesting because there is like pirate themes and a lot of pirate vibes. And as you guys know, I love pirate-related content, although it seems to be very difficult to find good pirate-related content. So this was a fun change of pace. There were some things in there that I thought were annoying and cringy and weird, like the obsession with scent and how that's used to indicate whether two characters have had sex or not. But there was also some things about it that I thought were really cool. Some things that happened to Lysandra were really fun. There were some characters that I thought were kind of boring in previous books and totally shine in this one, so that was a really fun surprise. Elena ebbs and flows with how much I like her as a protagonist because sometimes she's super badass and powerful and you totally get why all these other characters are following and are super obsessed with her, and she's very capable and she can be funny and witty, and then sometimes she is just such a brat and it's like, okay, you sound like an spoiled, pampered 18-year-old, you know? So that's kind of a weird thing, especially since the series has now turned from being about a cool assassin trying to get revenge or make her way in the world to now she's trying to be a queen, and that shift from assassin to royalty is a weird one, and I'm not sure it's done super successfully, but whatever. Another extremely explosive, really intense, very graphic ending that was a little like I said, intense to listen to. Something happened, things are changing, and it definitely made me interested to get to this final book, which is the longest one in this entire series. So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna take me 3 months to get through. But I'm excited to see where this series ends up. Another series that I have just been plowing through is the First Law trilogy, and I read a physical copy of the Blade itself. It's actually right there, but I didn't want to take everything off to just show the book to you. I did make a review video exclusively, a spoiler and non-spoiler. I mean, I love this book. I'm leaning towards maybe this being one of my favorite series of all time. I mean, that's quite a big statement to say, but I've never just gravitated so hard towards something so I finished The Blade itself, and then after having so many people tell me that I have to listen to the audiobook for the rest of the series, I got it on Audible for Before They Were Hanged, and I totally get it. It is so crazy good. It feels like you're listening to a play. The actor who is reading the story is so crazy talented. When I was listening to Before They Were Hanged, it was the thing where I wanted to do things throughout my day that would allow me to listen to the book because I just could not get enough of it. There are characters that I was a little iffy about in the Blade itself that now I love. I liked every single storyline. I like every single POV character. I am completely sold on this series. Like, I love this series. So excited to get into the final book, and then I'm gonna get into all the like standalone series and short stories. Like, I'm completely sold on Joe Abercrombie. I've been listening to a lot of his interview videos too. Like, I am so into this guy and into his writing style. So I'm very thankful to have gotten into this series the last few months. Back to the YA side, my friend recommended me this book and I snagged it before I went on my crazy 2-week vacation, and I finished the book in like 3 days. It was such an easy read, and it's called The Wrath and the Dawn. So this is kind of Indian inspired, very, very light fantasy. All the fantasy is kind of in the corners, but it was a very quick read and addicting read, because the idea is that there is this young prince, and for the last few months, every single day, he marries a new girl, and then in the morning at dawn, he kills her and then marries a new girl. And the main protagonist, her best friend, was one of his victims, and so she volunteered to be his next bride with the plans to kill him. And I'll just say, because it's in the back description of the book, so you know going into it that she falls in love with him. And it's kind of like, how would that happen? And why is he killing all these girls? You do not find out the answer to that until like you're almost done with the book. So I mean, it keeps you going with this like looming question of why? Who is this guy? Why is he the way he is? I really like the protagonist of this book. She was witty, she was funny, she was smart, and a very cool feminine protagonist, where I feel like a lot of female protagonists now is like they have to be crazy, badass, and like kill everybody with one hand, you know, like very over the top. And she was capable and she was smart, but she wasn't that typical like ultra badass. She was just cool and without being like super masculine or violent about it. I really liked her. The writing style was interesting. It felt very sparse in a lot of ways, but it kind of led to the very fast-paced feeling of it. Like I said, it was very easy to get through. In some ways, it may have left a little bit to be desired, but at the end of the day, it's one of those stories. It's not this like super expansive world and world building, although it's very Indian inspired. And so reading all those little details was also very fun. Like it felt lived in, but it's not this like crazy expansive fantasy world. It was a very good end of summer, light, quick reading experience. Would totally recommend. There is a sequel. It leaves you on a cliffhanger. There's a sequel, and my friend who recommended the book to me read the sequel, and I trust her taste and opinions, and she did not really like it, so I don't know if I'll continue on with this series, but first book was dope. As you guys know, because I already threw up the vlog on my channel, I tried so hard to get through this YA fantasy pirate book called These Rebel Waves, and you can watch the vlog if you want more details on why I had to put it down. And I might do a sit-down review to talk about it, at least for a writing perspective, why it was so god-awful. But I wanted to love this book because I love fantasy and I love pirates, and it was YA, and I'm like, this will be fun. It was boring. It was convoluted. Let's just say I knew the author's political leanings very early on. But ultimately, above all else, it was just not fun or entertaining, which is such a shame because I feel like that should be I don't know, it's pirates. Like, I feel like that's such an easy thing to make both fun and entertaining. And yet, there was none of that. So those are all the books that I've read and listened to the last few months. Check out my October TBR if you want to see what I'll be focusing in on for the month of October. I'm almost done with the contemporary YA thriller Sadie. That one is so good, but not to give anything away. I'll be throwing up some reading vlogs throughout this month. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any of those type of videos in the future. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!